Good evening, everybody. At this time, I'd like to call to order the closed session for April 22nd, 2026. Let the record show all council members are present, and we have no speakers. We will adjourn to closed session.
Check, check.
Good evening, everybody. The April 22nd, 2026 meeting of the Solana Beach City Council is called to order. City Attorney, are there any items to report from closed session?
No, Mayor, no reportable action.
Good. Let the record show all council members are present. Please stand and join me in the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a full house because we have a few proclamations, two proclamations this evening, honoring a couple of really wonderful people who have worked with us and provided their great talent and expertise over the many, many years, each a little different in their numbers of years. But we're going to start with honoring Joe Lim. So, Alyssa.
Yeah, so this evening we have some mixed emotions. We will be recognizing Joe Lim, our Community Development Director. I have had the pleasure to work with Joe now for 2 years, but knew him in the planning circles before coming to Solana Beach. And Joe continues to amaze me in how he is able to identify solutions, pulling from his bag of tricks that he has put together over the years at many jurisdictions, and do that while also coaching and mentoring his team and setting a great example of what a great planner, a great public servant should be. You can tell from his staff, who are all here tonight to support him, that he is really appreciated, and I'm going to make you cry, so just saying that. He's really appreciated, and he's going to be missed, but man, retirement will probably look really good on you. You'll get to spend more time with your wife and go visit your daughter, and but your mark on the city and what you've done to help guide the city through a lot of changing legislation, navigating that while still doing your job, doing your profession, using your expertise. Want to commend you for the work you've done here and in the numerous jurisdictions before Solana Beach, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Joe. Now, I have a proclamation here. It's a large proclamation, and I'm going to read the whole thing because I don't want to miss any of your accomplishments in here. And it's a little glary, so I've got to get it at the right place. There we go. Honoring Joseph Lim for 8 years of service. Whereas Joseph Lim began his service to the city of Solana Beach on April 23rd, 2018, bringing more than 20 years of public service knowledge, community planning expertise, and a lifelong connection to the community he served. And whereas Joe played a key leadership role in the city's comprehensive sand replenishment project, which created a 150-foot wide beach along 7,200 feet of shoreline and nearly 25 acres of new public beach area, supporting long-term coastal resilience and public enjoyment. And whereas under his direction, the Community Development Department successfully advanced the city's sixth cycle housing element, completing the required programs and guiding the city through a complex multi-year state review process. And whereas Joe oversaw transformative housing and development initiatives, including record-setting progress on accessory dwelling units with 110 permits issued, as well as major projects such as the Sandbox mixed-use development, the Solana Highlands Apartments redevelopment with dedicated affordable units, and additional projects such as Ocean Ranch, which also contributed new affordable housing units to the community. And whereas he strengthened key stakeholder relationships, including with the Chamber of Commerce, and modernized planning tools and policies by leading various code updates designed to preserve the city's small beach town character amid continually evolving state laws, while also expanding the city's commitment to responsive customer service. And whereas Joe is widely respected by residents, citizen commissioners, and the business community for his work with the Business Liaison Standing Committee and the View Assessment Commission, where he fostered collaborative, trusting relationships through open dialogue, shared problem solving, and mutual support. And whereas his steady leadership, approachability, and dependability strengthen the Community Development Department, and his willingness to support staff through important public interactions fostered confidence, teamwork, and organizational resilience. And whereas Joe's institutional knowledge, commitment to Solana Beach, and team-oriented spirit, whether in the office or during friendly cornhole competitions, have left a meaningful and lasting imprint on both the organization and the community. Now, therefore, I, Lisa Huebner, Mayor of the City of Solana Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby honor and commend Community Development Director Joseph Lim for his outstanding leadership, dedicated service, and lasting contributions to the City of Solana Beach. We extend our deepest gratitude and warmest wishes for this well-earned retirement. Now I think it's Corey and Katie and Tiffany. You're all going to come up and present. And then should we do the public speakers first? Do we have any public speakers? When? Yeah, for Joe. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I have a little thing here that I didn't read before I called them.
Okay. So for those of you, when you have a long tradition with the city or experience, we normally give you a big sign, but Joe wanted a little sign. He actually didn't want any sign, but we thought he actually deserved the recognition. And Joe, thank you. You've been amazing, and the team that you have brought up and trained, they are ready to take on everything. So thank you very much. And it's going to be a little sign. So thank you.
Thanks, Thank you. Am I supposed to say something now? Or are there
Nope,
others?
not yet.
Just so you know, all know, the community development staff made me cry during the citywide staff meeting not too long ago. So thank you all for being here. And hopefully I can get through this. I'm going to try to make it short. I'm soft, probably because my mom, who's here in the audience, Paula. So as we've gone through a few of these, as several of the past staff that have come up here and spoke have stated, the hardest thing is going to be missing the people. I thought it'd be easier if I wrote something, and it obviously hasn't, but I'll certainly miss the interactions that we've had with all the staff and the community here. But the thing I'm going to probably miss the most actually is with my community development staff. You know, our weekly therapy sessions, department staff meetings, are great interactions with all of the staff. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work in this community I grew up in. 8 years doesn't seem like a long time, but I grew up here. I was a junior lifeguard back in the 80s. So it's been great to come back here. Everyone from the elected officials to the management team to all the rest of the staff, you all work so hard day to day, and that's what makes this community great. I'm blessed and honored to also be recognized today alongside someone that I kind of grew up with, Danny Hernandez. Well, he's a little bit older. That's why he gets a bigger sign, I think. He will probably go down in Solana Beach history as one of the longest service employees for the city of Solana Beach. It'll be hard to beat the amount of time you've spent here and had such a great impact, Danny. Congratulations. The one thing that I will be able to say, though, is I did get to give you some orders to do a little bit of work every once in a while. So anyway, it's been great working with you, reminiscing about old times. And there are a lot of people that I'd like to thank. And I apologize if there are some people I may have missed or may miss in all this list. It's not because I didn't forget you. It's just I think the council would probably like to move on with the meeting. But first, I need to thank my mom and my dad, who's not here with us. Excuse me. Trying to do some math, right, Rachel? My wife, Christine, thank you for all the support over the years. My daughter, as well as my sister, all of which have given me great advice over the years, whether it was solicited or not. I couldn't have asked for a better support group. I'm also blessed to have some amazing mentors. I'm not going to get into the names, but they certainly guided me and were instrumental in my career trajectory. To the city council, mayor, all of this city council, and some of the ones that preceded you while I've been here, you are so dedicated to this community and appreciative of the staff and the hard work they do. It shows, and you set the tone and atmosphere for which we work in. To the management team, past and present, there's been quite a few that have had an impact on me. I'll name them: Greg Wade, previous city manager, Dan Goldberg, Dan King, Mo Samak are some of the ones that have recently left the city. And the present ones: Alyssa, Pune, Greg, Ruburu. Sorry, I always seem to butcher your name, buddy. Michael, Rachel, Angela, Kirk, Aurelia, Johanna, Dion, Luis, I didn't see, and many others. You guys have been great to work with over these last 8 years. And I'm guessing some of you may think of me maybe challenging at times is the best way to describe it without getting into too much detail. But I think it's created a great work environment and some very enthusiastic and thought-provoking discussions. Thanks for putting up with me, by the way. And lastly, back to my community development staff. You guys are awesome. You've made me look better than I probably actually am. You guys work really hard. I know it. Everybody knows it here. You've carried a large amount of the workload to make this department successful and the city successful. Corey, Katie, Tiffany, John, who's not here, Armin, Oscar, Daniel, and even some of the past staff here, Cecilio and Lauren. And now we have Jacob, who's a new code compliance officer with us. As I've gotten to know you professionally and personally, I believe that each of you will have amazing careers ahead of you, and I wish you all the best in the next season of this sitcom called Community Development. Maybe I meant this chapter without me anyway. I do want to leave with one quote. It's from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. Jeez. I can get through it. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thanks for making me feel ridiculous.
Okay, now we'll go to our public speaker.
Lisa Montes.
Congratulations, Joe, on your retirement from the community. It's always been a pleasure to know that you're there, and you've always been so kind to us, and we've never felt intimidated by you. You've always shown kindness to us, and I just wanted to say, it was for me. Not too recently, one of our homeowners in Solana Beach had a car plow into her house. And so I went over there to make sure she was okay. And then you walked in. And I knew from there, I told her, I said, "You're in good hands. Joe's here." And I was able to just to know that things were going to be taken care of. And to have such a traumatic thing happen when you were just sitting there maybe 5 minutes earlier and a car lands on a bed where she was sitting. It was really scary for her and for all of us. And I knew that she was in good hands. And I told her, you're in good hands. Joe's here. And I know him and you're in good hands. So just thank you. We will miss you. And to the city, you have big shoes to fill. Please find someone that is as kind and not intimidating the way he was, and just find somebody that knows a community. So that's I just want to say, welcome to the retirement world. Congratulations.
Thank you. Joe, you're really going to be missed. I know I could always rely on you for your vast encyclopedic knowledge of not only our codes, but what's going on in Sacramento. Yet always, you know where this council is coming from and wanting to preserve community character. So always finding a way to help us with our goals, despite the challenging times that we're in. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, now we'll try not to cry for the next one as well.
So our next retiree is Danny Hernandez. And like Joe and like myself, we graduated from Torrey Pines. These are like my big brothers, I'm just going to say. Danny, you have been a force in the city, in the team of Public Works, in all that you do. Your attitude, no matter what, is positive, it's friendly. There's always a smile, always a joke, a little ribbing, literally and figuratively. And I think the team that you work with, they hold you in high regard. Our community, whether they know it's Danny and Art and Victor and Jose and Luis, you guys are everything to the daily of our city, the operations, the cleanliness, the repairs, the beautification, all of that comes from this team. And Danny, 35 years is nothing to sniff at. It's pretty amazing, and your commitment to our community, the community you grew up in and that I've heard stories about, is really appreciated. And we look forward to continuing to see you and your wife around town throughout the years to come. So congratulations on this well-earned retirement. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor to read the proclamation.
Okay, Gijo, here goes. And it's honoring Danny Gijo Hernandez for 36 years of service. Whereas Gijo Hernandez began his service to the city of Solana Beach as an intern on April 13th, 1990, becoming a full-time employee on August 6th, 1991, and stands today as the longest tenured employee in the city's history, having over his 36-year career played a foundational role in shaping the city's public works operations. And whereas Danny is a lifelong Solana Beach resident with deep roots in the La Colonia de Eden Gardens neighborhood and has advocated to preserve the character and history of the community, sharing invaluable knowledge and experiences he and his family have had from both before and after city incorporation. And whereas Danny led the city's comprehensive street name sign replacement effort, improving visibility, uniformity, and public safety, while also overseeing essential infrastructure maintenance programs and complex field operations with exceptional skill and professionalism. And whereas throughout his tenure, Danny responded to countless incidents from floods and fallen trees to traffic signal failures and urgent field hazards, coming to our rescue in times of need. And whereas Danny has consistently identified new ways of bringing efficiency and technical expertise to situations that often go unnoticed by the public, yet are critical to the city's daily functioning, safety, and well-being of our residents. And whereas Danny has long been a trusted partner to public safety personnel, particularly the fire department and lifeguards, offering steady support, cooperation, and frequently a laugh or two when sharing practical knowledge and guidance to younger staff. And whereas Danny is widely recognized for his positive presence, approachability, and genuine care for people, building lasting relationships with staff, residents, and business owners, and serving as an ambassador for the city in his every interaction. And whereas in his service as president of the Solana Beach Miscellaneous Employee Group and his mentorship of new public works staff, he has bridged generations of knowledge to leave a lasting legacy that not only improves city operations, but also helped to cultivate the next generation of public works professionals. And now, therefore, I, Lisa Huebner, Mayor of the City of Solana Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize and honor Public Works Supervisor Danny Hernandez for a lifetime of service to the community he has always called home. His work, leadership, and deep connection to Solana Beach have enriched the city and the lives of those who live and work here. We thank him wholeheartedly and wish him a fulfilling and well-deserved retirement. So let's go to public speakers, okay? Angela, would you like to call the first speaker?
Lisa Montes.
I warned you. I'm wearing a special shirt today, and he just noticed it. Gijo just noticed it, but it's our great grandparents. We share great grandparents. Antonio and Florentina Gonzalez, the parents of my Uncle Tony and his grandfather. So I wore it today in honor of the legacy of our family and what you created working for the city and just being a lifelong resident here. This is not goodbye, so I'll see you around the corner. And welcome to the Retirement Club. And just thank you for always being that go-to person whenever we put major events on with the city, such as Dia de los Muertos and just other events. You've always been there. It's like we could always go to Danny. And for me, being involved with the museum and the curator, former curator, you and your team from Public Works have always been there for us. And for me, now that I'm no longer the curator, but just involved in the community. So I just applaud you, and I hope that you have there's big shoes to fill, city. So just find someone that knows our community and that's kind and approachable. That's my advice to you. But congratulations, cousin.
Our next speaker, Cindy Clemens and Kathleen Drummond.
We just wanted to say thank you.
In the microphone, Kathleen, so everybody at home can hear too.
And it's not goodbye. You know, I'm going to see you at Tony Jacall, I know that. But we want to see you around town. It's as seaweeders, we couldn't have done it without the support of Public Works. You guys have been just awesome. And Danny Gijo comes by, collects all of our weeds. And frankly, we wouldn't have the volunteers we have today if it wasn't for that. We are most grateful to all of you guys. And Danny, you've done a great job, and Luis. This team is fabulous at supporting us, and that makes people want to volunteer with us, because before, the seaweeders, the original seaweeders, had to cart all those weeds away themselves, and we're an aging population, and that's really yeah. So thank you, right? What could we just, all the planting of our plants, every year we get, with the Mayor's Monarch project, a lot of new plants, and Danny's out there digging holes for us. I appreciate that. It's been really great.
So we're going to miss you. Welcome to the Retirement Club.
Yeah.
We're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah. There's us on the rail trail, and there's also the post office garden.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, wait, I have to speak in the microphone. Come on, get a picture. So Danny, number one, your wife deserves flowers.
More than that.
I have not known Danny very long, less than a year. But I will say, when I talk to the team, there's a few words that stand out. Teamwork, pride, which is so important, high standards, which you set those, so now it's up to you, and also tradition and training and mentorship. And you have really brought that to the Public Works team, and you have left literally a legacy. So over 3 generations of taking care of the city and laying out it to be the best team ever. So I wanted to thank you, because your team turns out don't have a lot of words. So, but you will always be here, and I'm really gonna miss seeing you when you wave to me as I'm driving down the street in the truck. So best wishes, and bring your wife some flowers.
She has a rose garden. All right, my turn to talk. I'm not going to cry, Joe. But I do need glasses. So I'm not going to go through a bunch of my accomplishments. Mo Samak, Dan Goldberg, Jim Greenstein left, and every project that they did, I maintained along with my crew. It's kind of funny. I think besides Luis, none of them were born when I started.
Oh my gosh.
Talking to Evan Mason today, I asked him, "How old were you in 1990?" And he answered, -2. Okay, so I want to start out thanking some of the women who gave me the tools and skills to make it in my career in life. Many of you may not know, but I was mainly raised by women. I lost 2 grandfathers when I was young. I lost my father and another grandfather to divorce. They were in my life, but on a limited role. So I relied on all my grandmothers, tias, and of course my mom. Pictured here are some of them up there. The picture was taken at the top of Hernandez Street. The property was known as the Sanchez Double X Ranch. This is my father's side. So I'll start right here with my great-great-grandmother. She came here in the early 20s with a few kids in tow, and she raised 11 kids. Her husband died in 1935, leaving her behind to take care of about 8 of them by herself. I don't know how she did it, but she did. She's tough as nails. I was told that she used to cook tortillas every day, pull weeds in her yard, smoke Lucky Strike cigarettes, up until the last month of her life. And she, when indoors, I was told she used to use her hand as an ashtray. Oh. So if that ain't tough, I don't know what is. And her daughter, right here, was my grandmother Sanchez, my great-grandmother Sanchez. She was tough as nails too, and I'll keep her stories within the family. Not appropriate for here, but you know what? I get my strength and toughness from them. Whenever I have a challenge in my life, I just look to them and I pull the strength from them. They taught me how to be tough, and they gave me all my strength. Next, I have my grandmother Hernandez right here. She started working for the Rancho Santa Fe Inn as an entry-level maid, and as she retired, like I am now, she was the executive housekeeper for the inn, the boss. I didn't quite make it to the boss, but just like her, I stuck it out.
I'll let him out.
I prefer the title king. So, I got a lot of my strength and toughness from those 2 ladies. My grandmother Hernandez, who worked for the inn, you know, I learned loyalty, I learned hard work, I learned my work ethic, my stick-to-it attitude, and, you know, eventually, here I am retiring as the public works supervisor. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And that, by the way, that's me right there, the little one sitting on my great-great-grandmother's lap. So next, my grandmother Catalina, there on her wedding day with my grandfather Tony, and my Aunt Lisa, my mom's sister. They taught me how to work with the public, how to have a great work ethic. They also taught me to be adventurous and enjoy life. Both my tata Tony and Nana Catalina also taught me to give back to the community. She gave me my faith in God. My tia Lisa, my Nana Snack Pack as we called her, went to church every week with me and my brothers and I, and believe it or not, I was a substitute altar boy. My Nana Snack Pack was my road dog. I took her from TJ to Oceanside and all points in between. I miss and love them all dearly. Next, I want to go to my Aunt Kathy, my dad's sister, and my mother. They taught me so much. They took all the traits I just mentioned and expanded, giving me and my family so much. Too many words to mention. I love you both very much. They're both watching at home, probably right now. They're still here with me and still my biggest cheerleaders. Both sides of my family were some of the first settlers in Eden Gardens. They came here so their families could have a better life, and that is exactly what happened. Okay. I want to thank Eddie Quijada for getting my foot in the door with the city, and Pearl Pollard, the original Public Works supervisor, for hiring me. I still remember that April morning, 36 years ago. I was walking to CVS on Stevens Avenue. Eddie Q, as we called him, stopped and said, "Hey, I heard you stopped working at Tony's," and asked, "Do you want a summer temp job with the city?" I said, "Sure." So City Hall back in the day was on the corner of Stevens and San Rodolfo, so he told me, meet him in the parking lot. He took me to meet Pearl. He asked, "Can you start in 2 weeks?" And just like that, with a handshake, I was hired. Many may not know, but I was passed over for a permanent position in that first year. But I stuck with it. I cut my hours in half, ran out of hours, took a month off, reapplied, got rehired as a temp again until another permanent position came open and I got it. I was also passed over 3 more times in my career, but thanks to what I learned from the women in my life, I persevered and stayed loyal, all the while maintaining a strong work ethic. During the years working for the city, I got married and started a family. As my boys grew, I coached them as a volunteer in baseball, football, soccer, and basketball, giving back to the community what I learned from my grandparents. Once again, tools that I learned from the women in my life. Through the years, I coached with and against countless kids. My boys are 8 years apart, so when one was finished with rec sports, the next one came up. I followed these kids when they joined the junior guards. Then they became workmates, working for day camps and junior guards. The last few years, I don't recognize any of these kids besides a few relatives, but I still work with 2 of them, Sage and Seabass. Sage's parents are here tonight. As I look back, I have served this community since 1979, working for my Nana Snack Pack at Tony's, serving food and cleaning up for them. Then with the city, while at the same time volunteering. As I look back, I never consciously set out to do what I did, it just happened. Now that it has happened, I have great satisfaction and realize it was all because of the great ladies in my life setting the example. My roots run deep in this community, and I take great pride in that. All right, so leaving the city is going to be easy for me. Because I know that my crew, well, they moved. Starting with the boss, Luis, Jose, Art, and Victor. Lost my spot. I know they're going to do a great job because they are well trained and truly care about the community. I know because I trained them. I have worked here 4 years after cityhood, so most of the original hires were here when I started. My employee number is 49. 49th person hired. So I asked Victor the other day, he's been here for 2 years, and he's number 859. So I've worked with close to 900 people over my tenure here. And in this little city, we work with everybody. So you get to know everybody, and it's kind of hard to believe that I'm met 900 people here. So next is my challenge to all of you. I want you to come out on a Monday morning to Fletcher Cove Park, drive down with the crew, see how much trash and time we put into doing this job. I think you will be shocked what it takes to keep it clean and of all the stuff left behind by our citizens and surrounding communities. It's quite a task. It's pretty heavy, and I know David Zito was there one morning at Tide Park working with Victor, and he saw it firsthand, but that was just one beach. You got to go to all 4 of them. So I want to give a shout out to Daniel and Jake, my 2 boys. They're streaming this in Eureka and Santa Barbara. Hey, boys, check it out. Dad's calling it quits. I love you both, and I'm very proud of both of you. Now my final thanks to my PIC, my partner in crime, the love of my life, my baby fresh, my baby doll. She cooks for me, she cleans for me, and is taking care of all 3 of us. Tara Hernandez, I could not have done this without you. I love you. So now I'm going to do something. Don't be shocked. It's a positive. It's positive. It's not directed towards you. Right hand up, middle finger out. F cancer.
Yeah.
So I seen him come. I seen him go. It's now time for me to go. I was born, raised, lived, worked, will now retire and die in La Colonia, Eden Gardens. I am EG strong. I am EG for life. Salud.
Shisho, there are no words that I can add to that. We'll see you around the hood. Oh, gosh. Yeah. We're going to take a little break. Okay, we're going to get started again. Everybody, if you could take your seats, please. Take your places. We're going to get back to work here. So we're now at the approval of the agenda. City Manager, are there any changes?
Madam Mayor, no changes tonight. Thank
May
you.
I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? Motion by Zito, second by Edson. Please vote. That passes 5-0. City Clerk, do we have any oral communications? Okay, this is the portion of the agenda that provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the City Council on items relating to city business but not appearing on today's agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action shall be taken by the City Council on public comment items. However, Council may refer items to the City Manager for placement on a future agenda. The maximum time allotted for comments is 3 minutes each. First speaker, please.
Our speaker is Michelle Jaffe.
Good evening. What a great night to show up. And really proves the point that Solana Beach is unlike any other city around, and what a wonderful place to be. I'm here on behalf of the Friends of the Solana Beach Library, and part of the Friends' mission is to increase community access to information and knowledge and provide a diverse cultural gathering place. And one of the ways they're trying to achieve that is they just instituted a 3-part series called their Civic Series, and it's designed to build civic knowledge and engage our community. I just want to thank Mayor Huebner, Deputy Mayor McDonald, and Councilperson Ms. Becker. Thank you so much for coming last night. They had their first series that was just about trying to explain, like what is government, or just demystify a little bit what it is. There's 2 more sessions coming up. May 21st, it's the 3rd Tuesday of the month, and then the 3rd Tuesday is June 16th will be the last session. In May, they're going to explore government agencies. In June, just talk about budgets and basics, like why does everything cost so much? Just like there's a lot of factors that you have to go through, as you know. The intent of the program is just to increase civic engagement and help people get involved in our great city. So just want to announce that, and hope to see you at our next sessions. Thank you.
Okay, very good. The next is Mayor's do we have any other speakers? No, okay, very good. Mayor's announcements and then City Manager and Council. I'll start with Mayor's announcements. Excuse me, a lot of reading tonight. Pre-construction, the Lausanne San Diego double track. In preparation for the Lausanne San Diego double track project, Sandag began performing underground utility locating this past Monday, April 20th, and will be continuing their work through this week. Working hours are through the night from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and will require closure of a segment of the Coastal Rail Trail near Dahlia, along with 1 vehicle lane and 1 bike lane in the northbound direction. Traffic control will be in place, and the contractor will reopen the lanes and the Coastal Rail Trail at the end of each shift. Emergency access will remain open. Schedules may change. Questions can be directed to Sandag at lausannecorridor@sandag.org. Marine Safety Summer Preparation. For summer preparation, lifeguard towers will be placed on the beach this week from their off-season storage site at the Seaside Reef parking lot, and the junior lifeguard trailer will be delivered and placed at Fletcher Cove. We look forward to the summer season. County mosquito maintenance. As somebody who the mosquitoes love, I'm really happy to announce that starting tomorrow, April 22nd, that's today, 23rd, or today, starting today, the county will begin its first aerial mosquito control larvicide application of the season over local waterways, including San Elijo and San Diego lagoons. These treatments are safe for people and pets and help prevent mosquitoes that can carry disease. Residents can help by removing standing water around their homes and ensuring window screens are in good condition. For concerns or mosquito issues, contact County Vector Control at 858-694-2888 or vector at sdcounty.ca.gov. Spring Bulky Item Pickup Day. The city has partnered with EDCO to host the Spring Solana Beach Curbside Bulky Item Pickup Day, taking place next Saturday, May 9th, 2026. This gives residents the opportunity to place trash, green waste, and up to 4 bulky items at the curb that would be too large or heavy to put inside collection carts. These items include broken appliances, water heaters, furniture, old mattresses, and other miscellaneous bulky household clutter. To register for this curbside pickup event, residents must call 858-350-8544. Remember to place all items curbside by 7 a.m. on Saturday, May 9th for collection. Earth Day volunteer opportunity. And happy Earth Day to everybody. Looking for something to do for Earth Day? Join I Love a Clean San Diego for the Creek to Bay Cleanup, the largest Earth Week event in the San Diego County. This family-friendly initiative invites volunteers of all ages to come together and tackle coastal pollution on Saturday, April 25th. Volunteers can choose from around 100 sites across the county, including one right here at Fletcher Cove. To register and select your volunteer site, go to creektobay.org. Somos Tias, the nonprofit of the year. I wish Lisa Montes were still here. Tonight, I'm very pleased to announce that Somos Tias has been recognized as the nonprofit of the year for District 38 by Senator Catherine Blakespear. Somos Tias is a local, volunteer-driven organization with deep roots in our most historic neighborhood, La Colonia de Eden Gardens. Their team shows up for immigrant families with practical support, compassion, and the true spirit of neighbors helping neighbors. The Tias have long extended our community's social safety net by helping neighbors access legal, medical, and food security resources when they need it most. We're proud of their statewide recognition and even more proud of the meaningful, steady impact they continue to make right here at home. Please join me in honoring Somos Tias for their outstanding service to our community. And two of our community members, Amy Bryan and Lisa Montes, were the originators of this, and it's now spread. I know that Councilmember Edson has been a volunteer with them. It has spread to Encinitas, and you tell me the rest.
Encinitas was the first spread of Tias. Then it moved to Escondido, and that has become the 78 because it's doing the whole corridor. Escondido, Vista, San Marcos, and even Oceanside. And recently, a group from Point Loma has joined.
Excellent. All doing great work. Okay, City Manager, do you have any announcements?
No, I do not tonight. Thank
Council,
you.
any more announcements? Councilmember Edson?
I have an announcement, but I think I'll keep it until the NCTD, till we report out on our
Okay, very good.
committees.
We're on to consent. Items listed on the consent calendar to be acted upon in a single action of the City Council unless pulled for discussion. Any member of the public may address the council on an item of concern. Items removed from consent by any member of the public will be discussed immediately following approval of the consent calendar, and pulled by council will be trained to the end of the agenda. City Clerk, have any members pulled an item? Council, anybody want to pull an item? No. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda, please? A motion by Becker, second by Edson. Please vote. Okay, consent passes unanimously. We're on to public hearings, and I do know that Deputy Mayor McDonald, you are recused from this. Do you have a statement you need to read?
I own property. My primary residence is within 500 feet of this address, so I will be recused.
Great. Thank you. And we'll wait till you leave the room before I turn it over to the city manager. Okay, city manager.
All right. Our first item tonight, item K1, is a public hearing on 1114 Via Mil Cumbres. The case number is RP 25-015, SDP 25-020. And this evening we have Katie Benson, our senior planner, to do the presentation. Please proceed.
I think your mic is on. Nope. No.
I think it's. There we go.
There we
Okay.
go. And please speak really close to it because that mic is problematic for some reason.
Okay, so as introduced, this is a request for a development review permit and structure development permit for a second floor addition at 1114 Via Mil Cumbres. The project before you requires a development review permit for two reasons. The first, the structure, proposed addition to the structure would exceed 60% of the maximum allowable floor area for the lot, and the second floor would exceed 35% of the floor area of the first floor. And then a structure development permit is required for construction in excess of 16 feet in height. The project is located in the low-medium residential zone, which allows for 4 dwelling units per acre. And this is an aerial photo of the existing development. The lot size is 11,761 square feet, and the maximum allowable floor area is 5,028. This is an existing 2-story residence, and they're proposing to add an addition to the second floor consisting of 566 square feet. They are providing their 2 required off-street parking spaces in the garage, so they're afforded a 400 square foot exemption from the total floor area, and that brings their total to 3,958 square feet. And the property is adhering to their required setbacks. The maximum proposed height of the proposed addition areas is 22.5 feet above the pre-existing grade, which I'll note is below the existing main ridge line of the project, and there is no proposed grading. This is a view of the site from VML Cumbres with the story poles installed. And the story poles were installed and certified in January of this year, and notices were mailed with an established deadline of March 30th for view assessment applications, and no applications were received. Therefore, if the council can make the findings to approve the DRP, the SDP would be approved administratively. And within your staff report, I compared the project to other properties in the neighborhood, and this project was at the high end, but within that range of the allowable floor area, and that area is noted in the map on the right, and these are some of the homes that are in that neighborhood. They range from 1-story to 2-story developments. This is the proposed site plan. And the second floor plan, the addition areas, there's 2, one in the rear and one in the front. In the rear is the area in blue. It's an existing uncovered second floor deck that they're proposing to enclose to become an office. And then on the front side of the residence, there's a new addition proposed to extend the primary suite and add a 4th bedroom. These are the front and the rear elevations, again with the 2 areas of addition highlighted. And these are the side elevations. So you're aware of the 4 findings to approve a DRP. The first is that the project is consistent with the applicable regulations. The second is that the project complies with the development review criteria. The third, that all required permits and approvals have been obtained prior to or concurrently. And number 4, if the development also requires a permit or approval from a state or federal agency, then the project should be conditioned to get that approval. As a reminder, we did receive 1 item of blue folder correspondence from neighboring property owners, 2 properties to the east at 1126 VML Cumbres. And staff's recommendation is that you open the public hearing and find the project exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15301. And if you can make the findings to approve the DRP, then adopt resolution 2025-095, conditionally approving a DRP and SDP to construct a 566 square foot addition to an existing 2-story residence at 1114 VML Cumbres. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for your questions.
Thank you, Katie. Before we go to questions, I'll open the public hearing and we'll go to disclosures. I drove by the site this morning and I've not spoken with the applicant or any neighbors.
I'm familiar with the property. I went by to look at it on yesterday morning, and I have not spoken to the project applicant or any member of the public about the project.
I drove by the project yesterday and have not spoken with the applicant or any members of the public.
I drove by the property this last weekend and have not spoken to the applicant or any of the neighbors.
Very good. Any questions of staff? Councilmember Redson?
I just want to reiterate, or have you reiterate, that there was the normal VAC noticing period, et cetera, and no VAC cases were filed.
Yeah, there were no applications for view assessment received during the 30-day time frame.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Okay, we'll now go to the applicant. Is the applicant here? You have 15 minutes to present. Are there any other speakers besides the applicant? There are no other speakers. So you can use your 15 minutes or not.
Sure. So I just threw together a few slides to kind of respond to the neighbor's concern, hopefully easing any kind of concerns about how impactful the addition will be to their view. If we go to the next slide, there's a few. So this was the email that was received. We can go to the next one. And the distance from the backyard to the proposed addition is 110 feet. And then from the elevation views on the next slide, maybe it's the next one. 4.3 feet is going to be the height change from roofline. So at that vantage point, the next slide will show It's only a 2.2 degree difference to that actual line of sight. And then the next slides, there's a couple different, so this was from the sun path calculator. You can kind of see here that the majority of the year, this orange cone is where the sun actually sets. And the line of sight is, for the majority of the time, not going to be impacted by this proposed addition. And the other half of the year, it would already be setting south of where the view line would even be anyway. Go to the next slide. So this is that view. You can see the story poles there. This is from right up against the fence, the property line, so a little bit closer than that diagram before. And then the next slide, you can see the sunset as well. This would be the only few days of year based on that sun path diagram that could be affected would be a few days a year in March and then a few days in potentially October. Outside of that, the sunset would be towards the north or the south of that point. And the next few slides are more photos to kind of support that argument. And if there's any other questions, I am here.
No, thank you for that very detailed response. I appreciate that. Councilmember Becker.
I was going to say the same thing. Thank you so much for putting that together. That was a lot of work, and you know, I think that that's great because our city does like to protect views whenever we can, and so that was super helpful. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and as was pointed out by Councilmember Edson, they would have had to file for a view to make sure a view assessment and gone through that process, which they did not. But thank you for addressing this for your neighbors.
Sure, no problem.
And I see no other questions. Okay, you may have a seat.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Councilmember Zito, thank you. May I have a second? Councilmember Becker, please vote to close the public hearing. Hearing is closed, 4-0 with McDonald recused. Council deliberation. Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, so my first comment is, even working in the field of technology, I still seem to fail to grasp that if you ever want to find out something, you can just be sure there's an app for that. So appreciate the pointer to the SunPath app. I did not know it existed, but now I know it existed, and it's
we're in trouble now.
It's it's just really amazing what people develop and publish out there for anybody to use. Anyway, okay, with that, I mean, this is a big project, but it is seemingly within the scope of the neighborhood, so I believe I can make all the findings, and I'm ready to make a motion to find the project exempt from CEQA and adopt resolution 2026-042 as outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. May I have a second, please? Councilmember Edson. Okay, I can make all the findings as well, and I will call for the vote. Okay, that passes 4-0 with one recused. Congratulations. All right, that's our only public hearing. We'll wait for Deputy Mayor McDonald to come back into the room, and we'll move on to our staff reports. The L's. Okay.
All right. Good evening. Item L1 is the solid waste rate review under Prop 218, the notification that's required. This evening we have Matt Cleary, our general manager from EDCO, to give a presentation. Additionally, for any staff questions, Nicole Grecky, our sustainability manager, is present to assist. And with that, I'll turn it over to Matt. Thank you, Matt, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Hebner, council members. As the public speaker said, what a great night to be here. What a tough act to follow, so I'll do my best. Just a couple updates, and I'll keep this brief, but thank you for the opportunity to present the proposed rate adjustments that EDCO is proposing for the residents and commercial entities in Solana Beach. As a reminder, Solana Beach is a member of the Regional Solid Waste Authority. RISWA has an agreement, and the controls it provides for the long-term stability for the disposal rates associated with disposal of solid waste. Additionally, member cities can participate in the Household Hazardous Waste Program, which is through RISWA. It's contracted by EDCO. It allows for access to 2 permanent household hazardous waste collection facilities, door-to-door pickup, and special event collection. RISWA, the rate adjustment is made up of 2 components. Actually, I should say the proposed solid rate is made up of 2 components. There's the RISWA component, which this year came in at 3%, and then there's the service component, which is EDCO's service component of 3.31%. The blended rate for these 2 components is 3.24% for a standard residential service. Standard, again, being 1 95-gallon trash cart, 1 95-gallon recycling cart, and 1 organics cart. Both indexes use a CPI, the standard LA Long Beach Anaheim CPI, and the proposed adjustment, as you can see, the current rate is 31.60. The new rate proposed by EDCO is 32.58, resulting in a 98-cent per month increase that we're requesting. All right, some good news. So how are we doing on 1383 compliance? Well, Solana Beach is doing very well. The last 4 quarters indicate that every single commercial and residential entity has been compliant with 1383 by having a green bin. Currently, there's 30 entities that have a de minimis waiver, and everyone else has been compliant for the last year, so that's excellent. A couple of general programs that we partner with the city, that we provide for the city, working with staff at City Hall, working with Nicole. We were able to provide compost for residents. The Compost Hub, as it's called, is a free self-serve, bring your own shovel and container facility located at 1764 Highland Drive, and it's open from 8 to 3, Monday through Thursday. As the mayor mentioned, there's also the semi-annual cleanup events, which confirmed the first one is on May 9th, on Saturday, May 9th. It's the bulky item collection event. And then the other one is the paper shredding, e-waste, and U-waste and mulch event, which will be in October. And lastly, EDCO provides city facilities with no charge collection services as part of the franchise. That concludes my slides. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thanks, Matt. Any questions? Councilmember Zito?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. I was just going to say that appreciate this information. Like the comment I made at the last RISWA meeting, might be useful if you have it and it's not too hard to actually show when you're before us like some other statistics such as contamination rates in the blue bins and the green bins, and as well as incident rates that your team has with respect to fires because of batteries inside your trash trucks or inside your facility. And it's not because we want to rate you on that. I just think that any opportunity you have to discuss those, you know, who knows who's going to read these staff reports, who's going to watch this meeting. It's a good educational opportunity to say, hey, you know, my recollection, I took the tour several years ago. My recollection is Solana Beach does pretty good with contamination rates relative to your cities, but I don't know if that's a analysis you do on a regular basis or information you can provide, but I think that would be useful. Thanks.
I can answer that question. Solana Beach for 2025, EDCO collected about 15,000 total tons. About 6,000 of those tons were recyclable or divertible. So you're at about 45.2%.
Yeah, that's great. That's the diversion rate, but I'm actually referring to, I think when I did the tour, the amount of stuff that was put in the blue bin that had to be thrown out was like about 20% or something like that.
It ranges from about 15 to 20%.
Right, yeah. And I've always said we should start a competition with the neighboring cities to see who get the lowest number, but nobody's bought on that one yet. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker.
Yeah, along those same lines, I see my neighbors constantly doing this. that in the blue trash can, they have a trash bag of all their recyclables inside that. Does that whole trash bag then just go into the trash because you don't open the bag and take the bag away, right? Because the bag's not recyclable.
It depends. Generally, we try to open the bags, and
good.
the recycling process breaks bags open at the onset. However, that doesn't prevent the contamination of the bags, the film plastic, harming or hurting the system. But for the most part, the materials inside are open. The bags are opened, and the materials are processed. But there's more than just bags. Film plastic is, again, our number one contaminant by weight and by volume, but that comes in the form of packaging plastics, which some can be recycled. But again, film plastic, again, our number one contaminant. No bags in either the blue bin or the green organics bin.
I think that would be good to just keep reiterating that, like put that, maybe we can even put it in our newsletter, because I don't think that has come across, and it just doesn't hurt to keep reiterating that one. And then I also want to thank you for the beach cleanup baskets that you gave us. That was really generous, and turns out somehow people have stolen them, I guess, but we have to work on that. But that was really nice of you to do that. So thank you. It's been a successful program, and we're gonna obviously figure that out.
Thanks. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
And so I do see better compliance in my neighborhood because I have a dog that I walk on trash day and sometimes look in people's containers. There is still an issue of, I think what often happens in homes is that maybe you have a built-in bins in your kitchen, as we do, and we may put our recyclables in a plastic bag, but what we do is then dump it into the blue bin and then reuse that bag, for true, trash stuff that can't be recycled or put in the green waste. And I do think we need to do a better job of explaining to people what goes where, so that there'll be more compliance.
Yeah, and I would like to just add that today I was at Jimbo's, and Jimbo himself is a resident of Solana Beach, and they're not providing those so-called compostable produce bags any longer because they're not compostable. So I thought that was a really great thing, although they're only offering small bags with little handles on them, and it's pretty hard to put a bunch of chard in that bag. So I'm hoping that they get some larger bags in paper bags for us to be able to use for our produce. But it might be nice to give them a call and say thanks, because I know that they really, I see everybody walking out with those bags, and people think that they can put them in their green bin.
So I wasn't aware of that, and that's really good. I gave them a tour of the recycling center.
You gave Jimbo?
Probably just a few months ago. So,
excellent. Good.
We did talk extensively about the green produce bags and how they weren't compostable. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, it was good today. Councilmember Edson.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank your staff. They're picking up our trash cans in my neighborhood every Monday. They show up. We can count on them being within a certain time frame. They're careful. Now and then they have to get out and pick something up that may have escaped or gets tangled in something else. But they're really, really sweet. They wave. They're friendly. Really appreciate the staff, and thank you.
Thank you for those comments. We pride ourselves on the staff we have on our team at EDCO, and thank you so much for that feedback, and I'll be sure to let them know.
Great. All right. Oh, Councilmember Zito, you had something else?
No, I was just going to make an motion
Okay.
to adopt resolution
Thanks, Matt. You
2026
can have a seat.
033 is outlined to the staff report. Thank you,
Very
Matt.
good. And that is basically setting a public hearing date of June
Yeah.
10th, 2026 for this. Okay, and may I have a second, please? Second by Deputy Mayor. Oops. Councilmember Becker beat ya. I'll call for the vote. That passes 5-0. Okay, thank you. Now we're on to our work plan, item L2, City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council, and the public. This evening, we are bringing the first of our series of meetings that we have on our work plan. As you recall, you set the updated legislative policy a couple meetings ago. You'll have the work plan, and then that will carry us forward to the budget in June. This evening, Dion Akers, our government affairs manager, who's done a heavy lift of working with all of our directors to gather what has been done over the last year reflected in the work plan, to share that with all of you, and give a presentation about those items. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dion to present this evening, and then we can move into the discussion.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor Huebner and members of the City Council. I'm Dion Akers, Government Affairs Manager, here to present an update on our 2025-2026 work plan. Each fiscal year, the City Council approves a work plan which outlines the city's project and program goals and actions for the year ahead. And the work plan is drafted by the City Manager in collaboration with staff and the City Council. Along with the legislative policy and budget, the work plan serves as a guiding document that outlines much of the city's work and priorities for the year ahead. The 25-26 work plan was adopted by the City Council in June of last year and is arranged by 5 key areas of focus: affordable housing and livable communities, transportation and mobility, environmental sustainability and energy, youth, senior and community well-being, general governance, and fiscal responsibility. These are the same areas of focus from our legislative policy, which by design establishes a strategic alignment for the priorities for the city and for this council for the year. As noted on the slide, the 2025-26 work plan has a total of 56 goals with 171 action items. We'll spend the bulk of tonight's discussion reviewing progress on the goals and actions of the current work plan, and with that, we'll begin to take input for the 26-27 work plan, which we staff will draft and present back to the council for further input next month. Before we go through the full plan, item by item, we'll provide a brief highlight of each priority area and discuss how new topics or goals that the council may consider including for the coming year. To better track progress and review outcomes of the work plan, this year staff have developed a spreadsheet matrix, which you all have in front of you, which captures each action item of the plan and a status of the action. Status of the items are marked as completed, in progress, ongoing, or adjusted. As you will see in the attached matrix, 47 actions have been completed, 46 are in progress, 33 are ongoing, and 25 have been adjusted. On the slide here, we have just an example of the matrix that you were reviewing, and I thought this was a good example to show what it might look like before we dive into it. This is goal number 2, form affordable housing and livable communities. Some of these are quite obvious, right? We have hired an in-house building inspector. This is 2D, so that is completed. And because that is completed and we've filled that role, we do not need to continue that work in 26 and 27. Some of the other work is ongoing, and we would recommend continuing it. But if you look up to item 2B, implement additional online application and payment processes for business certificates and permits. We have completed that, but we're also continuing that we recommend that item because in the process of this year and bringing online some of our processes, we realized that we can probably do even more to better streamline that. So just wanted to take a moment to highlight some of those elements of the status, and feel free to ask as we go through them. Now we're going to go briefly through each one of our priority areas in the work plan and highlight a few goals that staff have made progress on, as well as some potential elements to consider for the next work plan. First is affordable housing and livable communities. This area has 6 goals and 16 action items. As the council is well aware, navigating housing requirements and goals has been a dynamic and shifting target for many years, with many outside influences such as state regulations and changes to the real estate market landscape, and we expect that to continue in the year to come. Despite this, we've made significant progress on the streamlining public access and reporting on housing permitting in the city, and we can look to build on that momentum and continue elements of the customer assistance program improvements goals. Next is transportation and mobility. This area has 10 goals and 35 action items. On the top of the list, and timely to this week, I would like to highlight the work that's been done to move forward with our ambitious Loma Santa Fe corridor project, which envisions some incredible pedestrian and safety enhancements along the entire corridor. I won't steal the thunder of my colleagues and the Public Works team, but I believe that soon we're going to be reporting out some very exciting and promising news about our recent RFP for a portion of that project. While we have completed or have ongoing progress on all actions related to e-bike safety and education, for example, The proliferation of very fast and high-powered e-bikes and e-mobility devices continues to be an issue we see on our roadways and hear about from our community partners. We will likely look to continue education, signage, and enforcement activities specific to this issue next year, perhaps with greater focus on collaboration with the sheriff and local bike shops. Our third priority area is environmental sustainability and energy. This area has 8 goals and 23 action items. This year, thanks in large part to our amazing sustainability program manager and assistant, we remain on the forefront of municipal environmental sustainability policy and plan to keep leaning heavily into that in those efforts next year. I'm also happy to give our city credit again for the many improvements that were recently completed and celebrated at Fletcher Cove, which is one of the most exciting and forward-facing wins I think that we've had so far this year. That said, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, and we'll continue working on many of these efforts, especially our climate action plan implementation and efforts related to the new marine science safety, the new marine safety center. Youth, senior, and community well-being is our fourth priority area. This area has 8 goals and 33 action items. For this area, I'd like to highlight our City of Kindness Coalition initiatives, which have really had a banner year of success. We had a great response to our World Kindness Day blood drive in November. We've had City of Kindness activities and opportunities at multiple events and included in our regular weekly newsletter. We initiated the Solana Beach Cares seasonal kindness drives and are nearing completion on the design and installation of new City of Kindness street banners. Shifting gears a bit for this area, next year we'd like to make a concerted effort to develop and implement strategies related to increased tourism and hospitality in advance of international sporting opportunities coming to Southern California in the coming years. We're thinking the Summer Olympics in LA in '28 and the Paralympics that come along with that, the World Cup and the Super Bowl, just to name a few in this space. We're expecting a lot of folks to be traveling to Southern California, and we'd like to take advantage of that and encourage folks to stop in Solana Beach while they're here. Our final priority area is general governance and fiscal responsibility. This has 13 goals and 49 action items. Thanks to our information technology team, we've made huge progress on our cybersecurity expansion and the unified communication goals in this area. Those 2 goals alone have 12 individual action items, all of which have been completed or are in progress. These efforts are helping to ensure that the city and our staff are operating safely in digital spaces and that we're staying up to date on technology and public engagement, particularly for our public meetings. While some of this work in this priority area may be less exciting, I'm looking at you, legislative policy, much of this critical work keeps the city running and keeps our transparency where it should be. In 2026, 2027, we'd like to develop the various elements for asset management and master planning to increase efficiency and responsiveness related to city facility needs and street repairs, for example. Following today's review of the current work plan, we will start to develop the 2027 work plan based on feedback from the council, public, staff, community partners. Once we receive feedback from council tonight on the work plan, revisions will be made and incorporated into a new draft, which will be presented to you all next month at the end of May. Staff have already begun and will continue to solicit feedback from our standing council committees and commissions, including the Climate and Resiliency Commission and Public Arts Commission, the Business Liaison Committee, staff leads on particular projects, community partners, et cetera. We're trying our hardest to get input from all of folks throughout Solana Beach. Beginning this year and transitioning through to the next year or two, we're also starting to transition the building and tracking and maintenance of the work plan itself through our new ClearGov project management software. We are piggybacking, once again, like we usually do, from our public works team who have brought this program online to help manage and track, namely our CIP projects. And there's some incredible functionality in that program that allows us to build strategic plans and was really a huge help in developing the spreadsheet matrix that you all have in front of you tonight. And while the council obviously has ultimate approval and say over the work plan, staff recommends that goals and actions developed tonight or in the next month to come align with the city's 5 strategic priority areas, which we've discussed many times. That concludes the staff presentation portion of tonight's discussion. Now we'll move on to a detailed review of the 25-26 work plan progress and begin to develop input and recommendations for potential changes to next year's plan. As council moves through the work plan, we've added a few guiding questions here on the slide that you may want to consider to help facilitate feedback, clarifications, and recommendations. Thank you.
Dan,
Oh,
thank
no,
you.
sorry, actually, I want to go back to that. Apologies. There we are.
That's it? You're not I thought you were turning it over to somebody.
No,
That's good. Great. Dion, thank you. And this, I really like this spreadsheet a lot. I think this is great. So I'd like to go through it using the spreadsheet, okay? The one that we had in our binder, or, yeah. The original one, yes. And then there were a few duplicates, and we won't go through those edits. I've already given them to the city manager, and I'm sure that they've already been corrected. And items that were in the wrong kind of place, but that's just no big deal.
Yes, and just for the record, for the public, there is an amended version that has been posted as a blue folder item. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, through the
Okay,
mayor, just-
yeah.
I'll apologize up front. Haven't had enough time with the spreadsheet, so I've got more comments in the work plan. So I'll just try to follow along
Yeah,
and make sure
because
that
they
I'm
kind of
matching,
go in the same
I know,
order.
but I may miss things. I may have to make you jump back or something like that just because we'll be doing.
I'll be
different
really
documents.
mad at you.
I know, that's fine. I'm just apologizing up front.
it's
But
fine,
the
of
other
course.
one is
Whatever it takes
just
for us to get the
overall
information out
comments,
there. I'm
on
good.
the spreadsheet. I don't know, we could start with that, which is, I think it'd be useful with the spreadsheet to have a legend. So I don't know what necessarily the differences between ongoing and in progress. That's not necessarily clear to me when I was looking at them. And then there's also the status of adjusted, which then there's anywhere that it gives any indication of what adjusted means.
Okay, Deanne, do you want to go over what
so
those distinctions are, please?
the-
And then we'll put them in the final one.
Yeah, I just think we should get them added too. But I mean, adjusted if something's adjusted, like when we were reviewing work plans in previous years, we would get a strikeout copy of the work plan and you could see how it was adjusted.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have something like that now.
So that will come on May 27th, and maybe that's the other piece before we jump into this. So this is looking back to go over what has been done.
Okay.
It's summarized in the table. The definitions or the clarification about completed, ongoing, in process, and adjusted are actually in the staff report, but that's a good idea to add them into the matrix, as well as a footer along with that coded reference to the departments. But we will be getting your feedback, and then you will see those edits in the full document on May 27th. We'll go through that again, and then that will feed into any sort of budget adjustments that Rachel will incorporate for the June update to our 2-year budget.
So just for the purpose of the people who are watching, completed means action has been carried out as approved. In progress means action is incomplete, but progress has been made toward completion. Ongoing is an action is a continual or multi-year effort that is still being executed, and adjusted action was changed, modified, or not completed due to changed or unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, which I get. It just doesn't seem to match what's in the spreadsheet often, that's all. So we can go over that.
Well, then
as
we'll make
needed.
those corrections
Yeah,
tonight.
all right.
Okay, Councilmember Edson, you had a question?
No, but I may do a little bit of back and forth too, because we were provided the binder portion earlier
more narrative
than we
one.
ever got the matrix. I love the matrix idea. I think it's going to be something positive for us to work with in the future, but I'd like to get it first.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use this matrix here, the spreadsheet, and it starts with general plan update. So if you are using the narrative that's in the binder, starts on page 4. Okay, are we all ready? Okay. So anybody have anything for the general plan updates? I have one, and let's just raise your hands, so we don't have to keep. Councilmember Becker, you had something? I can't hear you.
Right. On 2C.
Oh, okay. We're on general plan updates first because I have.
Oh,
one
I
quick
see
one.
that box. Okay.
Okay.
You're right. And just stylistically, can you put the general plan? Can you put the title at the top of the box, or is that not possible with this kind of matrix?
Absolutely, whatever council desires. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a formatting. That would help. I would like to add to the zoning that we review the citywide review and develop objective standards for development in the city that would, for instance, provide some vertical relief, like 10-foot step backs and so forth. And this would go through the city attorney to take a look at maybe what some other cities have done in their objective standards, but just something so that we don't just get boxes showing up. Okay.
And I just had a quick question,
Sure.
which was I saw the permit-ready ADU program was marked as completed. So is that expected to come back before the end of the year? Is that why it's completed?
Yeah, and I'll speak to that. If we are on track to complete an item and expect that item to be completed by the end of this fiscal year, by June 30, it is referred to as completed in this year.
And that's my question. So we are expecting to hear that one before the end of the year at council.
Joe,
Yes.
do you want to give an update on what we ended up? We had to. This is one that we adjusted because some other efforts are being undertaken. So, Joe, if you want to take a moment to share that.
Pre-approved.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is referring to the pre-approved
Yes.
ADU plans, which we put in the housing element.
Yeah, so what we've done is actually we've created a process for people to have pre-approved plans here in the city. We decided, I don't know if we recall in the discussions previously, there was some discussions about having plans drawn up and then updated. But the fact that the state changed some of the legislation, that any other jurisdiction that has pre-approved plans, those other jurisdictions have to accept them. So there's a way that anyone that wants to bring a pre-approved set, they can bring those to us. It also would reduce some of our costs if we had to update those plans in the future. They get put into our system, we review it just to make sure that it's up to date with the current building code. But for the most part, anyone can bring something from another jurisdiction or from the state that have pre-approved plans already in place.
Okay, thanks.
Well, and Chris,
I mean-
Councilman, go on.
I was just saying, to me, that probably should have been adjusted because that's a totally different outcome than what we had actually put in the work plan, but interesting. I'll have more questions, but not going to slow down this meeting for that. Thanks.
Okay, Councilmember Becker, you had something on this customer assistance program improvements.
Yes, on 2C, where we talk about the annual report to council on the My Community app, I was curious if maybe we could have that before we finalize this work plan, just in case, the highest reported issues, if there's something that we can do for that. I don't know when you were planning for the annual to be.
Oh, the city manager is there. Do you know when we were planning on looking at the annual report on the My Community app?
We had done those in October.
Yes, we did that in the fall, so we would have that again probably in the fall as a cycle.
Okay, if there was, I guess I just don't recall if there was anything that we might need to put in the talk about for the work plan, but
Do you
I can ask.
I will say, so the My Community app, as the data comes in, we're looking at it. It's mainly still the same concerns about potholes or graffiti, and we have enough adequate budget at this time to address it. So
Very
there
good,
haven't been
yeah.
any outstanding issues, but we continue to look at the data even before we bring it back to you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, moving on to outdoor dining regulations. Then moving on to South Sierra Mixed Use Affordable Housing Project. Local Coastal Plan, Land Use Plan Adoption and Preparation of the Local Implementation Plan. Short-term vacation rental permit ordinance update. Okay, the Loma Santa Fe Corridor Project. Can't wait to see the next item on that, which is the results of the bids. And then we have the traffic calming projects. Let's see. Any,
Mayor?
yeah, Councilmember
Yeah, I was
Lucido?
just wanting to add one that I've talked about with the city manager over the past year, which is as part of traffic calming to consider, generically, I would say consider additional intersections for red light camera usage, which I think there's one in particular I have in mind, which is by the fire station.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
So.
Yes, and we've added it into the work effort that Public Works is doing, but I think it's great to put it as a placeholder here so we don't lose sight of that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Councilmember Edson?
Yes, 2E is prior to final occupancy of the Solana Highlands project, implement the traffic calming measures included in the conditions of approval. The curbing in the center of Nardo is there. However, those curb areas are full of weeds, and the ones next to the sidewalk between the curb and the sidewalk are full of weeds. I don't consider that completed. This is, and I understand completed means the end of the calendar year, so will that be addressed?
Fiscal year.
Yes, and also, enough reflective paint to make everyone happy and so that they can actually feel safe about driving there at night.
So this is going to be like another item, right?
This is in here. Maybe Aurelia, do you want to take a moment to share where we are with the upcoming items with Solana Highlands?
Of course. So the traffic calming measures have been put in, and we do recognize the end goal is to have them landscaped. They anticipate being done with full occupancy by the end of the summer. But we're continuing to work with them to make sure those areas are landscaped and also that they're painted with reflective paint on both ends, similar to the medians on Highland, so that drivers are aware going through the area that they're there.
Has the painting been completed? I thought we had put in, or they had put in reflection.
Yes, they have put in reflective devices, but before we accept them as complete, they will also be landscaped. But that is the last and final step in the development.
The paint and the reflectors have been applied. Okay.
Yes.
So.
And the anticipated completion date again on that was July or end of summer?
So this one will be the end of summer.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
So maybe we should plan to carry that one forward just so we don't lose sight of that since it goes beyond the June 30th. Thank you.
Okay, the next is implementation of the Comprehensive Active Transportation Strategy, or CATS study project. I have one. Go ahead, Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, thanks. I just, going forward, I don't know, again, what the adjusted meant for Review Scientific's Vision Zero Action Plan. I mean, originally, I was the one that had actually become a Vision Zero city on that. We may have evolved it. I'm not sure I'm still comfortable with that and think maybe we should look at that again. But regardless, I would like to see something here that's way more concrete that implement any pertinent policies or strategies, like maybe we're going to implement 3 or 4, or just we're going to do something as opposed to say, no, this isn't pertinent. Yeah.
As I think we've discussed, I'm not sure what the presentation has been in our council meetings, but the SANDAG has adopted a Vision Zero strategy that the city of Solana Beach doesn't have any, fortunately, Vision Zero high incident corridors or intersections under that plan. However, it does have a lot of strategies and practices that should be put into city procedures or standards for future development or reconstruction of rights-of-way. That is the piece that needs to be completed. That was adjusted to move it out in timeline. And this is where we can have additional conversation this evening to fill in that gap of what adjusted is. And maybe there is a more refined adjusted, extended the timeline to give some more clarity. But that is it. It hasn't changed from what is in the goal, but for the timeline.
Okay.
I'd like to also add something to that. Could we look at some of the safe routes to school, that whole project, to make sure that they're safe in all areas, and especially where there's a cul-de-sac feature that could be used to limit through traffic? I'm thinking of Cliff Street and that whole area. We had discussed that years ago on the council level, and it's just something that I'd like to make sure that we capture somewhere on this work plan to make sure it's there. And then the other thing on 3C, when we're talking about the Loma Santa Fe and the freeway intersection, can we look at the bike-only signals and see if that would help safety in any way, shape, or form through that sort of dicey area, especially going west? Yes. Okay. Anything on traffic signal updates? Councilmember Edson.
Yes, 4B says analyze the feasibility of installing flashing left turn lights, permissive yellows, in other words, in appropriate locations. Does staff have can you provide an example of what are appropriate areas that you're considering?
One of the areas that's been identified is along Stevens. So we have a lot of traffic. We also have schools, a lot of pedestrians. So we've initiated a lot of this work this year with the new as-needed consultants and the increased capacity. So Stevens corridor specifically is one of the areas that we're looking at, and I'm happy to work with Alyssa and city manager team to put the more specific items that we're working on so that you have more visibility on those as well.
Perfect.
And I
Thank
think
you.
the secondary location was at Loma Santa Fe and near Cedros.
Yes.
We're at Cedros to see
Yes.
the feasibility of that as well. Was that, did I preempt your question?
Good, you captured. Actually, we have, this was one that I put on the work plan a couple of years ago, but we have actually specific requests from residents to do the turn to go northbound on Cedros, going eastbound on Loma Santa Fe, because it's a really short pocket. It can overload on the left turn light. So if that one's flashing yellow, people can turn level. The left turn lane may not back up. And a couple of my neighbors have asked for that. But when I first came up with this, I was also thinking about, which is pertinent to the work that we're doing, potential signals on the east side of Loma Santa Fe, particularly like the left turn into Las Banderas, where, there's hardly anyone there, or the left turn into the road that goes by the Vaughn Shopping Center. Because again, it's often you're just sitting there waiting for the light to turn and there's no traffic coming the other way. So those were other areas of potential optimization that I had been asking staff to look into. Thanks.
Good. Yeah, and I think with respect to the east side, we will likely wait until after we are done with our east side project, evaluate the traffic flow, and then consider those changes. However, I do think it's important still to find a place to house these ideas so we don't, again, lose sight after that project is done. Thank you.
And I just wanted to thank you for the answer with regard to Stevens corridor, especially the intersection of Stevens and Nardo. You can sit minutes and minutes and minutes there, and there's no traffic at all. So it's kind of silly. If there was a flashing yellow, you could make that left turn and not have to sit there.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, Highway 101 tree grate replacement. Glen Crest sidewalk improvements. Cliff Street comprehensive improvements.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that the tree grates were continuing to be replaced as needed, but it shows them as completed.
So this is an example of where we have completed, and then you have a yes, because they will be continuous. So thank you for asking that question. That's a very good example of we completed this year our goal, and it needs to come back up next year again.
Okay.
So wouldn't that be ongoing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's for this one, there's a.
Oh, it's done in this fiscal year, that thing?
Yes.
Well, but that seems like it should be ongoing. I don't know.
Because it's always on a cycle, on a rotating cycle. We don't replace all of the tree grates at once.
Okay. All right.
Well, you've got two. You've got 5A and 5B. So the number of tree grates to be replaced in future years will be determined based on an as-needed basis. So that one, I think, is ongoing, where the first one, I could see how you could say completed, but the second one seems to be ongoing. 5B. That makes sense.
Okay, so we may have to revisit
Let's
the
refine
value
that
of
a little
this
bit
whole,
because I think it's a little more nuanced, and we've evaluated what that cycle should be. But the number, it's kind of like our
It should
HVAC
be
units.
25, 26 in one column, 26, 27 in the other, something like that.
Yeah.
That might be what it is.
That might be helpful.
Okay,
Might be
all right.
helpful.
Some thoughts to continue to evolve this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Cliff Street comprehensive improvements, nothing. CRT extension at North City limits. Santa Helena Neighborhood Trail.
I have a comment on 9A under Santa Helena Neighborhood Trail.
Yes.
It says conduct additional community outreach on median options, paving and striping. I would add sidewalks to that too, because we still lack sidewalks on the east side of Santa Helena from Sun Valley to
Santa Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got more and more kids that are living in the condos.
Yeah.
Or townhouses.
Okay. All right. We're on to electric e-bike safety and education program. I just want to point out that at the East Side group, it was good to hear from the sheriff that in some instances they are now ticketing parents, which is a good idea.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's working. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just I wanted to, on 10C, it says to do these programs where e-bikes are sold, I would want to include and or rented. So it's
Yeah.
covering rental shops as well. I think we have a bigger problem with the rental shops in general. And then also based upon community input, the opportunities I believe should be to work with the bike shops, not only on the educational opportunities, but to provide some sort of, I don't know if I would call it flyer or poster that they would be responsible or encouraged to show to their renters about the common violated laws. So specifically, no riding on the sidewalk of West 101,
Right.
be courteous around pedestrians when you're on the rail trail, just some very common things that we see happen all the time that we could potentially provide these rental shops to give to their renters because they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
They're not from
Good.
town, and we get a lot of them.
Good point. Deputy Mayor?
Speaking of e-bikes, so I've noticed that some of the municipalities in this area have started to pass laws limiting the age of children who can ride e-bikes. I believe several have made it a cutoff at the age of 12. Are we looking into that?
I'd be open to putting it on our work plan.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about it tonight, but as I've mentioned in earlier meetings, I'm only going to be willing to consider it if it applies to all forms of motorized transportation.
Okay. Climate action plan update.
I actually just have one nitpicky thing over the 10ABCD. It says e-bikes with a capital E and a capital B, e-bikes with a capital E and a capital B, e-bikes with a lowercase e and a lowercase b.
Work on being consistent.
One would be good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Makes it easier to search too.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. Okay, under climate action plan update, I would like to add one thing. And I had heard this from a community member who private messaged me on Instagram, flyer from another city that is setting up a fix-it clinic. So in other words, it's limiting waste if you don't throw it away, but we use volunteers of folks in the community who would want to volunteer, who have skills and, I don't know, fixing a toaster that may not work or, fixing things that they could come to, and we'd have a day, or maybe it's during a day and then we have a booth or something and they could fix stuff instead of throwing it away. I thought it was a great idea, and I think it would fit in with the climate action plan implementation items.
So 1C says continue working on feasibility of microtransit pilot program. Over the next year, continue engaging focus groups to determine demand and researching potential funding options. Are we still researching potential funding options, or are we?
Yes, so this should be adjusted to be something more of the longer term. So that's why I think we see that it is.
Should be yes, but
It says in progress, and then it says no for
Yeah.
continuing.
So for climate action plan, we haven't fulfilled the connection with the EV.
That's right.
But why it says no is I think that the proposal is to move it into a standalone action because it actually ends up being in two places. Oh, yes, and Nicole's going to speak
Yeah,
up.
this is listed multiple times. So for consolidation, it's also in 2A under the youth, senior, and community well-being tab. So that was kind of the vision there, to have it in one place.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything on participation?
Sorry, through the mayor, I would note that we do have a letter with respect to the climate action plan.
That's right.
From the CRC, and I don't know if Nicole, if you want to address the two comments that were made by the CRC in that letter and how they are or not incorporated into our work plan.
That's our Climate Resiliency Commission.
Correct. So the two items that the commission really rose above as kind of their priorities moving forward was to explore passive feasibility for solar carports on municipal lots. So looking at how to add solar in additional places, and then also adding or creating and researching an urban forestry plan. The urban forestry plan is outlined in our climate action plan, so it aligns with that as well.
Anybody on that? Deputy Mayor?
So I do have a question about the urban forestry. Since we don't really have forests, are we talking about planting trees on city-owned property? Is that what they mean by forestry?
Yeah, and a forestry plan would be looking at what we currently have, where you would potentially plant future trees on city-owned property.
Yeah. So this is a uniform title used for greening programs in cities. And because we have a lot of opportunities right now with Loma Santa Fe East and work that we're doing to change out some of the vegetation on the
medians,
coastal
right.
rail trail in the northern area where we're planning to remove the platform, having an urban forestry plan that guides us in how we what and how we place within our public rights of way and on our public facilities would be a really useful plan. And then from there, if we want to look beyond that, but I think that's where we need help with implementation, and so would be a good planning effort.
Yeah, I just don't know how to capture that. I mean, it's clearly captured in 1.a with respect to that, but making sure, I wanted to make sure that feedback got on the record. So as we're looking, I mean, are we going to have a separate meeting to review 1.a and the priorities in there ongoing with respect to the work plan? Or when will we do that update at this body?
Yes, so
we need to
when
do
we
that.
and when we come back for the work plan, we'll have some additional drafted
It'd be great to
actions,
call out
excuse
the
me.
top priorities that we're doing in the,
Yes.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I could just mention for a second, I think I did forward something to the city manager that also showed solar umbrellas basically over tables in parks, like picnic tables, so that you get shade like an umbrella, but it's also a solar charging, and you can link that to battery.
Well, maybe our outdoor dining folks could also take advantage of that.
Yeah, never know.
You never know. Okay, participation in Clean Energy Alliance. Anybody have anything on that? City facility energy efficiency and decarbonization upgrades. Marine Safety Center. Fletcher Cove improvement.
Sorry, this is just a clarification question, but on the Marine Safety Center, I do note that it says apply for a coastal development permit. So once again, we expect that to be done by the end of the fiscal year to apply for a coastal development permit with the CCC.
Yes.
Awesome. I just wanted to, because we haven't
We'll
done
be
it yet, I
giving
don't
some
think.
more updates on
Okay,
that
thanks.
shortly.
And Mayor, if I might, the last sentence under summary of budgetary projections for FY 25-26 also mentions, it says expected to be appropriated in the FY 2025-26 and FY 2026-27 adopted budget from Measure S funds. And it gives the amounts of $1 million in future construction costs and $700,000 in design services. Are those numbers total for the 2 fiscal years or per fiscal year? It's not clear.
I'm looking to Rachel to see if she
I
can.
know she's hiding in the corner.
Pull that up. Yeah.
Which number are you on? The Marine Safety Building?
Yeah, it's
But
it's
in the
on the
binder,
staff
not
report.
the
It's
spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
The
yeah,
report,
it's page
yes.
19 on the staff report.
Let me go to that document just so I can see what you're looking at here.
So if
What
you look
page
at
are you on?
Page 19 in the staff report, under summary of budgetary projections, it's basically the last sentence. Very long sentence.
Yes, so maybe while Rachel's looking, within the work plan, we have a narrative write-up that maybe captures what the intention is, the actions that council has adopted, and then a fiscal write-up of what kinds of commitments would have been necessary as we were working on our 2-year budget. That would be updated looking forward for what the second year adjusted budget might be if needed.
Okay, but that still doesn't answer whether it's like.
I was using the time
Okay.
to capture
okay.
for
Thank you.
everybody how it's laid out in the work plan.
Yeah, that part I understood. It was just was it 1 year or 2 years? That's all. Thanks. And for those at home, I think that's really helpful. Thank you, City Manager.
Okay, Rachel, just speak up when you've got it.
Yes.
We'll move on. We're now going.
Oh, wait, if I could again, Mayor, sorry to interrupt. Also on that item under B, engage coastal commissioners for a site visit to see existing conditions of the Marine Safety Center. I just want to mention that is so important.
Yep.
With
I
like
have this
12 O's at the end of so.
Yes, I'm with you on that. Rachel.
So based on the budget for the construction for FY26, we had 500,000 for construction and 400,000 for design. And then in 27, we had 500,000 for construction and 300,000 for design. So that's based on what's in the actual CIP budget for what was adopted.
And Aurelia, can you maybe take a moment to share what has been done over this last year, just at a really high level, and what we would anticipate being that money would be used for in the future?
Of course. So over the past year, they've completed a, excuse me, an in-depth technical study because of the location. So we've really looked at what the options would be in making the Marine Safety Center a center for also Emergency Operations Center. They've done very in-depth analysis of worst and best case scenario based on the anticipated retreat line as well. And we actually have, for the conceptual design, it's more complete than what you would imagine just a picture going to Coastal Commission. So they've done a lot of the advanced geotechnical studies, and going into this next stage, when we present the concept to Coastal Commission, we're anticipating being able to walk them through all the various scenarios to really have a long-standing facility within Solana Beach. So the design part will really come down to how do we put it all together. So I think that we're probably at about a 20% design on this. So it's more than just a concept that we're taking to Coastal Commission.
So what you would have seen when you approved the Marine Safety Center December of 2024 would have been footprints of the interior that has since been refined with the architect, meeting with our marine safety staff, meeting with staff from other marine safety or lifeguard departments across the region who have recently done lifeguard facilities where they have some very good lessons learned. Then also that technical work. And moving into the next phase, we will continue to need to rely on those architects to continue to do the design and be responsive to Coastal Commission, as well as the engineers, geotechnical, and any other improvements that might be needed or tweaks that might be needed for Coastal Commission.
So if I might ask a question, if the city attorney thinks it's okay for me to delve a little more into this. So you mentioned a lot of lessons learned from other facilities, et cetera. It would be, I would like to know if there's anything in those lessons learned that might change our plans.
No, they have been things like the bathroom or changing room locations, because there are new state regulations for the state of California to have gender neutral areas. So how do you facilitate when, generally year round, we don't always have females. So how do we keep the space to be maximized? And I didn't defer to the city attorney. I'm sorry, my back was to you.
We're straying a bit, I would say.
So long as this is in the context of the work plan, I think so. To the extent does the work plan change in light of the lessons learned, I think we can proceed. But
yeah, and maybe it's there's a lot around those gender protective spaces, and then the Emergency Operations Center function, and how do you create the right space if we needed to mobilize emergency operations to that location. Thus far, I don't think there has been anything that has caused us to need to go back and redesign, or even seek to need to have a need to. Yes, correct.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Okay. All right. Fletcher Cove improvements, major storm drain system improvements, the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. It's looking so pretty out at City Hall.
Yeah, and just for me, for my educational opportunity, here's 7B, which is marked as ongoing but not recommended to continue in the work plan. So does that mean that it's going to happen and we don't need to track it in the work plan anymore, or what does that mean?
I was suggesting combining some of these.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, very good. San Diego Regional Climate Collaborative, La Colonia Park improvements. Let's see. I got markings all over here. Okay, I guess I'm good on this. Okay, anybody have anything? Okay, then we're on to Age-Friendly Communities Action Plan. So in terms of 2A, when it says implement circulator or shuttle services specifically tailored to meet the transportation needs of seniors, providing convenient access to essential services and amenities. And my note here says modify for after the pilot is done. Lessons learned from the pilot for a long-term program. Should we, perhaps get the flexible fleet grant and or find other sources? Yeah.
I had one comment on this area, the community well-being, could be youth or senior. I have seen these beautiful swings that they have at the Washington Harbor.
Screens?
Swings.
Oh, swings.
And so I asked Dion if he could post a photo of it, and I was wondering if this might be just perfect for Fletcher Cove, some area up there. It's a seating place, so you would view the ocean, but it's also a little type of swing, but like 2 or 3 people sit on it together.
Like a bench swing.
Yeah, it's a bench swing, I guess is what it is. And I thought just one of those somewhere at Fletcher Cove would be beautiful. And when we were doing our playground plans, it seems like so many people wanted swings. And so this is more of an adult swing, but it's also a viewpoint. And I think it would be a highlight in our community.
As long as they don't jump off the cliff from it. Right. Yeah, those are cool. I mean, it's something to take a look at. If we could put it somewhere, maybe.
And I would add, we've reached out to the wharf folks in DC following our initial conversation, partially because this concept was something that we were entertaining as part of our 40th anniversary, some kind of destination element for folks to come and really take advantage of the view and what we've got here. Have staff are conceptualizing it now is actually part of what I mentioned in the slides. Tourism and hospitality, attracting folks here. I think that we're thinking about the same thing. We'd love to have a spot in one of our most beautiful places with a swing. You could have folks taking photos there, posting photos, and really just kind of doing our best on social media to show how wonderful Solana Beach is.
Maybe up at Fletcher Cove Community Center rather than down in the park itself, because the park is pretty crowded, but the community center's got some potential space, I think, and a beautiful view.
That's where we initially had suggested it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we can add this. I think this goes to, may I recommend that we work to add a 40th anniversary item, and then maybe add a tourism item, because that extends a little bit outside and beyond, and maybe more in line with economic development and continuing our work with the chamber.
Yeah, that's good. Did you have something, Dave?
No, I was just going to say, if it's over 16 feet, we'll have to story pull it.
Yep, we will.
Just keep that in mind. But yeah, I was just going to mention, I like the idea of it being up closer to the community center, because I think, as we're all aware, in developing the playground at the park and developing the marine safety center at the park, the biggest thing that was consideration, nothing goes in that view, right?
The view issue, yeah.
That view is important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Glenmont Neighborhood Park. I would just add that if we can have the city manager continue to work with the Santa Fe Irrigation District on the future of that property in general.
Yes.
Be good. Okay, and now we're on.
Sorry, through the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, should we just clear out the other ones and just put that in? Clear out the other ones related. I mean, there's 3A, 3B, 3C. We should just have 3A that says
work with
them to try to get an agreement going, because at this point we don't have an agreement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good replacement action for our coordination with SFID.
Okay, now we're on Fletcher Cove Community Park and El Viento Park at Park Trail Upgrade. Okay, and then City of Kindness Coalition. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes and goals to work together. I have no idea what my notes say. I don't know what I'm referring to. Sure, no. Programs.
I think one of the things that may I recommend is to pull out 5F.
Oh, there we go. That's what
yes.
my notes were all about. Thank you very much.
Because that is really, this 5F is to develop a working group of nonprofits and community stakeholders into a roundtable to better coordinate, better build partnerships. You know, more voices together can be louder. They can get more done, and to also ensure that we're not doubling up on activities that might conflict with others. So, we had discussed maybe pulling this out.
Pulling this out, so not in City of Kindness, but just be the nonprofit partners. Yeah. And so it's making sure there's no overlap, no overreach, similar goals, could work together, all of that. Now I know what my notes said. Okay, replacement of emergency generator at fire station, synthetic drug abuse, substance prohibition, healthy and livable communities, legislative platform and lobbying. One thing that I would add in that is with the new governor coming up, we might have an opportunity to relook at the fair board, the fairgrounds governance, et cetera, that had been shelved when Newsom made sure that he did not want to change the way fair board members were appointed. And we might want to, given that we are in the middle of a suburban area, take a look at what we had originally been looking at, which was perhaps the local jurisdictions could have appointments as well as the governor. And see if we could take.
Absolutely.
Has there ever been someone who, because they lived in Solana Beach, got appointed?
Well, actually, Del Mar, Lee Haydu.
Yeah, but I think it was really because she'd
Don Mosier.
been, I'm not sure. I mean, it was incidental that she happened at that time to live in Solana Beach. I really think the appointment.
No,
had
she
more
was
to
in.
do.
It was when she was in Del Mar.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it was supposedly because of she was a local, but then they decided that they didn't want that
locals. And Don Mosier as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And technically, Phil Blair lives in Del Mar too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about someone who, who didn't incidentally wind up in Solana Beach, but who
was well. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if Solana Beach, Del Mar, the city of San Diego, the county, maybe our state assembly member, state senator had an appointments as well as the governor, so that we could actually work together on all that. All that happens there. Okay. Promote a diverse and inclusive work environment. Implement performance measurement program. Digital communications. Cybersecurity expansion awareness training, business continuity and disaster recovery. Unified communications. North County Transit District property planning. Business district collaboration. Facilities and asset replacement master plan.
Sorry, I don't know if this fits under business district collaboration. I'm not quite sure where to fit it, but it came up last fall several times in the business liaison subcommittee meetings, and I think it's still of interest, and we were talking about acting on it when we got the new staff in house, which was actually being able to do potentially commercial over-the-counter permits for tenant improvements that are solely interior and non-structural, effectively making it easier for some of these tenant improvements. And I know we had talked about it, and we said when we got the new staff on board, it might be something we'd look into, but I don't know if that would fit in here or if it fits better in somewhere else.
I feel like we have that.
I can't remember
Joe,
if
is
it
that
ended up
up
anywhere.
front in the, or Dion? The over-the-counter permits?
Business tenant improvements
Tenant
for
improvements.
non-structural interior changes.
Yeah, I don't think we had that in the
Okay.
specifically outlined in that manner, but
We
we've been
can add
trying
that
to.
in.
Oscar's actually taking a look at some of the things and what we might be able to do.
That'd be great. I'd just like to
online
recognize
or
it in the
over
work
counter.
plan.
Yeah, let's capture that.
We'll find a place for that.
Great,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Okay. So now we're on to proactively pursue measures to reduce CalPERS future liabilities. And OPEB future liabilities, City Hall deferred maintenance, and that's it.
I had one more through the mirror that I wasn't
Okay.
quite sure where it would fit,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know. I think at this point it's just a tracking and maybe reporting back request, which is, I don't know if it's just this winter or this winter combined with the fact that more and more people know that we have sand on our beaches. But I've been here a long time. I don't know if the lifeguards reflect this, but there have been a ton more people than I'm used to seeing on the beaches this winter on the weekends. And I do think we need to seriously consider on the weekends in these good weekends staffing our permanent lifeguard towers. Though I know we've done part-time of that. I've seen lifeguards be at Tide Park and Del Mar Shores on occasion, but I mean, it's been nonstop packed beaches on the weekends all through January, March, and April. February was a little light. And if this continues, I think we're going to need to think about how to get those lifeguard towers staffed on the weekends through the winter and just look at that. So I just don't know how to add that evaluation into the work plan.
So that's actually a perfect kind of closure bookend to the work plan. A lot of the actions that we have in our work plan do require additional funding. I appreciate that you brought that one up because that feeds in directly to what Rachel's going to be working on over the next month and a half, 2 months. She's already been engaging the department directors for any adjustments planned or programmed or needed for next year. This is something that we'll go back and we'll be able to come when we come back in May. I think we should find a place for this at least to hold the page and then have a conversation a little bit more about what that budget implication would be. So in advance of the June adjustments, you can consider that. We have received a letter of public comment on this very point, noting that as well, and something for us that we are considering. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so do you have enough direction? I think so. Okay, that completes our agenda. So we'll now go on
Thank
to...
you, Council. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Legislative correspondence. Dion, you did send out some great letters for us to continue with our legislative priorities. They were on the nitrous oxide, supporting that. What were the other ones? Remind me.
From Senator Blakespeare, additional signage for manufacturers for e-bikes. What was the other one? And then
And there was...
Sorry, there was 4 and we skipped on 1.
Yeah, I don't remember, but they'll be put on the
Yes,
website.
so those will be sent out tomorrow and under the mayor's signature, and then we'll post those in the next agenda under the letters of correspondence. But thank you for that preview. Appreciate that.
Perfect. All right. No more work plan comments. Compensation and reimbursement disclosures. Council commission reports. Councilmember Edson, now's your time.
Thank you. Last Thursday, following robust discussion, the board of the North County Transit District unanimously voted to forward a recommendation to SANDAG to make changes to the Regional Comprehensive Fare Ordinance. And this has been quite a big topic in the news lately, so I wanted to speak on it so people understood. These proposed fare changes align with those already approved by the board of San Diego's MTS. Fare alignment among the 2 transit agencies are what allow folks to travel throughout the San Diego region using their Pronto cards. Pay once, you get to ride it all. The NCTD board also unanimously approved sending a letter to SANDAG advocating for the study of a low-income fare program. Board discussion was loud and clear. NCTD does not want to leave our transit-dependent low-income riders behind. Increasing fares is difficult, even at the best of times. To avoid sticker shock, if approved by SANDAG, the proposed fare increases will be phased in over 2 years beginning this fall. In consideration of customers, especially transit-dependent and lower-income transit riders, NCTD has not raised monthly fares since 2008. Between 2008 and today, as we all know, the economic ups and downs of things like the Great Recession, the COVID pandemic, and the post-pandemic inflation surge have been profound, and they were also factors in NCTD's decisions to maintain lower fares during those years. Unfortunately, during those 18 years, since NCTD's last monthly fare increase, both the agency's capital and operating costs have dramatically increased. And in the current economic climate, funding for public transportation from all sources, federal, state, and local, have become increasingly challenging to obtain, with operating dollars being the most difficult to secure. With this in mind, over the past few years, the board and staff of NCTD have been proactive, taking necessary and appropriate steps in order to keep fares low. They've cut the fat. Operating costs have been reduced by $10 million. Bus routes and rail times have been streamlined, and staff diligently seek grant funding opportunities whenever and wherever possible. NCTD is and will continue to explore a variety of additional strategies to close their projected upcoming $16 million funding gap, which is lower than MTS's.
Yes.
So at least there's that. Although fare revenue only represents approximately 7% of NCTD's operating budget, it remains a key source of transit service funding. The recommended changes to the Comprehensive Regional Fare Ordinance are essential. Fare revenue provides precious, unconstrained, flexible funding dollars which are applied toward operating costs. NCTD, MTS, and SANDAG have worked collaboratively and invested a great deal of time and effort in crafting the proposed regional fare changes. NCTD staff performed robust outreach, listened to and incorporated feedback from our riders and employees and from board members. These efforts culminated in the board's unanimous decision last week to recommend that SANDAG make the proposed changes to the Regional Comprehensive Fare Ordinance, and further that SANDAG consider the study of the low-income fare program. The recommended proposal is anticipated to go to the SANDAG Transportation Committee for final review and approval in May or June. Dave may know more about that. If ultimately approved, adult single-ride fares on Breeze buses will increase from $2.50 to $3, with senior disabled single-ride fares increasing from $1.25 to $1.50. To avoid the currently confusing coaster zone fare structure, coaster zones will be collapsed into a single zone. Single-ride fares for coaster will be $6.50 for adults and $3.25 for senior disabled. And for the popular Coaster Regional Day Pass, that would mean adult fares, the adult fares will remain at $15 and $7.50 for senior disabled passes. As a reminder, the Coastal Regional Day Pass and monthly passes allow unlimited rides on Coaster and Sprinter rail lines, MTS trolleys, NCTD Breeze and Flex buses, MTS buses, MTS Rapids, MTS Rapid Express, and MTS Rural Services. A lot of bang for,
Little
a few
yeah.
dollars.
Yeah, and now it gets to go to the Transportation Committee, which Dave Zito is our chair.
Yes.
For that. You may have the floor, sir.
Just was waiting to see if Councilmember Becker wanted to jump in, but I guess I'll cover that one as well. So several meetings, one of which was the Santa Leo Joint Powers Authority meeting this week, where we looked at the preliminary budget, which is, we're clearly still in cost escalation time. So the Solana Beach contribution request is going to be 10% increase this year. But the good news is, I understand it's actually in our budget. So we're in a 2-year budget. So it's not more than what we've got budgeted for. So that's the good news. We plan for it appropriately. So we reviewed it and gave some feedback, and then it'll come back for official adoption in June. The other one is, I don't know if it's worth bringing this up, but at the Transportation Committee meeting last time, we're all trying to create more pain for the board, I guess. But with respect to the structure of how SANDAG is, we have ITALC. Every year there is a oversight, and that's the Independent Transportation Oversight Committee, which is a group of public people that are appointed to oversee how transit funds are spent as part of the 2004 ballot initiative that was put on the ballot. And they have recommended every year so far, the transit agencies have to ask for, exceptions because they don't get enough money for operations. And ITALC just said, okay, this is enough. And they're recommending no, that we don't approve that because the board actually needs to take action to adjust this formula. So we're not being asked to approve exceptions on a yearly basis. And it ended up being the Transportation Committee ended up supporting that recommendation, and it'll go to the board, hopefully with some tweaks about the MTS data, which will make it easier to support it. But basically, the ITALC and the Transportation Committee are asking the board to change the rules of the transportation.
And there's going to be a comprehensive
right.
item on
Right.
some of the other changes that are needed at this point as well. So, yeah.
And the last update is that I think is interesting for all of us is that Councilmember Edson and I had the Business Liaison Committee meeting, and one of the topics that we discussed was our as a ad hoc subcommittee that was working on the one remaining item on outdoor dining was the fees. We had come up with a tentative proposal for that will be brought before the council shortly. And we got, I thought, pretty okay feedback. I mean, there were some pointed questions, but it seems like the people that were at that meeting were supportive, and so it'll come to the council for our consideration of adoption.
Good. Okay. All right. Councilman Brensted?
Yes, following up on that, so the Business Liaison Committee is something, these meetings are open to anyone in the business community. And we have only a few people that show up. They're on the invite list forever. And so I think it would be really smart for us to put this in the a weekly update here and there to remind people that they can attend and that this is a resource for them and an ear to council, right?
Yeah, good.
And actually, just one more thing that came up. I don't know why I thought of it, but I did notice that we're still continuing to have a totally different subject, but we're still evidently continuing to have trouble recruiting public members for the audit committee on Sandag, which I sit on the audit committee. And I don't know if we can actually talk to the people on our business budget subcommittee and see if they have any contacts or if they even have any interest to torture themselves that way.
It might be a good idea to see if we could provide them what the qualifications are and the job description and see if they have any recommendations.
Yes, well, I'll work with Rachel to reach out to Sandag and Dion to get whatever the notice was that originally went out, and then we'll send that out to our Budget and Finance Committee and one, see if they are interested or if they know of anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Councilmember, Deputy Mayor McDonald.
All right, so since we're talking about the budget tonight, the San Diego River Valley JPA adopted its budget at our last meeting, and our increase will be 5% for the coming fiscal year, which I've already reported to our city manager.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
And I think that's still under, what was the amount? I think that was still under 1,000.
Yes, and that is the amount we budgeted, 5%. So
perfect.
You're good at that, Rachel. Great. Okay, that completes our evening. The meeting is adjourned till May 6th. Good night, all.